Welcome back. You're tuned into Bazaar Morning Call. Our research team is standing by with the top list of stocks that we're looking at. And Sonia, you go first. Tell us about Reliance Industries.
So, we were talking about the numbers, right? A good set of numbers, stable numbers, better than what the street was estimating. And it's a strong earnings where across the board, you've seen the earnings performance was better than expected. So all their key operating segments, whether it's oil to chemicals, whether it's telecom, retail, the performance was good and they've built on to what they've done last quarter. The consolidated margins came in at 18% and the oil to chemicals business, which is its traditional business, was very, very strong this time. The margins came in at a 5-quarter high. The retail business EBITDA also went up about 18%. But I think the street will focus more on the strength in the telecom business. So if you look at it, the average revenue per user has been growing every quarter. And this time around as well, 1.5%, 1.6% year-on-year growth in the ARPUs is what we've seen. The subscriber addition was very healthy. Almost 11 million subscribers is what they added in one quarter. And now that takes the tally to 42 million subscribers in FY24. And if you look at the overall earnings as well, it's a double-digit growth on the top line, EBITDA, the margins are steady. The net profits, though, were down about 1.8%. The street also likes the fact that Reliance is, the capex is now behind the company. So they are reducing the debt on the balance sheet as well. And the debt has gone down to 1.16 lakh crores. Most brokerages that I've seen have raised their estimates on the stock. Jefferies has raised their target to 3,380. Elara has upgraded and raised the target to 3,479. And Nuvama has raised their FY26 EBITDA by 8% and target by 10% to 3,500. But standard disclaimer, Reliance Industries is the owner of the channel that you're watching. But we were talking about how the telecom space is seeing so much traction. The Vodafone Idea FPO yesterday just kicked it out of the park. Reema's here to give us the latest on that front. Reema, over to you.
Thanks so much for that. So, this was a massive FPO, 18,000 crore rupees, the largest ever FPO secondary fundraise done by any company. And on the last day, we saw some very strong subscriptions. So the overall subscription stood at nearly 7 times. Retail, was 1 time. QIB was 19 times, while H&I was close to about 4.5 times. In fact, as the subscription started picking up, the stock also saw a pretty smart intraday recovery. The low yesterday was 12.1. It went up to levels of 12.9 versus the FPO price of 10 to 11 rupees. So very strong subscription, and the stock too saw that intraday recovery.
Okay, all right, Reema. Thanks a lot for that. Well, let's hop across to Mangalam. He joining in to tell us about Nestlé. Some negative news flow out there. Mangalam?
Well, negative news flow indeed, Nigel. The stock has been in focus ever since Public Eye's reports that came in that spoke about the presence of sugar in their baby food. And now we understand from sources to CNBC-TV18 that the FSSAI, which is the food regulator of India, has initiated action against Nestlé for possible violations of high sugar content in their baby food, which is Cerelac. It accounts for about 15 to 20% of sales, depending on, some of the estimates that the company has posted as well. But the FSSAI scientific committee will examine this matter, the report of which will be likely in a month, and they will then take the action based on this scientific committee's report. So until there is clarity on that, we may see some nervousness. On its part, the company has said that they adhere to all the standards that the regulators have pointed out. But this is something that may cause a fair amount of nervousness. And it's not just Nestlé that the FSSAI is looking at. They're also looking at other baby products and infant formula products to check whether they're being sold as per FSSAI standards. So any sort of regulatory action for a product as sensitive as this will bring some nervousness to the stock.
All right, Mangalam, thanks very much for that. Coming back to you for more. But Mahindra & Mahindra Finance here as well, there is some negative news flow. Abhishek is here to explain. Abhishek, morning.
Morning, Prashant. So, Mahindra Finance has given a press release in which they say that they'll defer the board meet which was scheduled to be held today for their Q4 FY24 results to a later date. Now, there was a fraud which was detected at one of the branches in Northeast, and this is with respect to the retail vehicle loans that they have given out. Now, fraud involves forgery of KYC documents leading to embezzlement of companies' fraud. So, the estimated financial impact as per them will not exceed rupees 150 crore. Now, this 150 crore, as per Q4 FY24 PAT estimate of analysts, forms about 21%. And spoke to few analysts, they say that average ticket size is about 3 to 4 lakhs. So anywhere between 3,500 to 5,000 accounts would have got impacted due to this. So necessary corrective actions have been identified and few persons have been arrested, is what the company has mentioned in their press release. And this could be the stock of the day with respect to downward trend. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, Mangalam is joining in. He's going to talk about Hatsun Agro and why you should be watching that one. Mangalam, over to you.
Well, good results coming in from Hatsun Agro this time around. You know, dairy companies have been on an upward trend when it comes to the margins, and this time around as well, the reduction in these prices it reflects in their EBITDA. The net profit also doubled year on year on account of margin expansion. So revenue growth of 14.4%, gross margins jumping to 30.7% from 26.8%, and as a result of which the EBITDA was up 47%, and the net profit from about 25 crores has gone all the way up to 52 crores itself. What the company has said is that the value-added products of the company have done well, and gross margins are at a multi-quarter high at 30.7%. And it's not just Hatsun Agro that will be looking out for today, because dairy companies usually move in tandem. So watch out for some of the other dairy stocks as well, which may gain on Hatsun Agro's results.
Okay, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. Well, let's go back to Rima. Rima, Tejas Networks, the stock was up and about in yesterday's trading session and the numbers look quite good.
Oh, absolutely. If you remember in the last 1 hour, we spoke about how Tejas Networks had shot up 16% ahead of numbers and very strong numbers. Revenue growth 137% up quarter on quarter, 340% up on a year-on-year basis. The company has reported a profit after 5 consecutive quarters of losses. The EBITDA this quarter stands at more than 300 crore, while at the bottom line, the company has reported a profit number of close to about 146 crore. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So that's Tejas Networks. But some of these smaller numbers as well, Patel Engineering, PSP projects came through. Abhishek is going to give us the lowdown. Abhishek, over to you.
Well, to begin with, there are fundraisers which are happening. So QIP have been launched. Patel Engineering would be raising about 400 crores with a 9% equity dilution. The indicative price is about 56.5 per share, which is around 10% discount to yesterday's closing price. Lock-in period is 90 days, and the BRLM to this issue is Motilal Oswal. With respect to PSP projects, another QIP has been launched. The size is about 244 crores. The indicative issue price is 670 per share. Not much of a discount. It's only a discount of 2.8% to yesterday's closing price and about 1.8% to SEBI floor price. So dilution is about 10.1% of the equity. Lockup is about 90 days from the date of allotment. BRLM is SBI Capital as well as Ernst & Young. Back to you.
Abhishek, thanks very much for that. More stocks in focus. Mahindra Logistics, RR Kabel, and a few others. Vamakshi's got this list. Vamakshi, morning.
Well, good morning, Prashant. Let me first start off with Mahindra Logistics. A weak set of numbers is what the company has reported this time around. Revenue was up nearly 14%, coming in at 1,450 odd crores, but the operational performance of the company was quite weak. EBITDA fell by almost 11% to 57 odd crores. Margins have compressed by over 100 basis points to 3.9%, and the company this time around reported a net loss of 12 crores versus a profit of almost 1 crores in the same quarter last year. So weak set of numbers. Expect the stock to stay under pressure today. Apart from that, keep an eye out on RR Kabel as well. They have terminated the employment of Dinesh Agarwal, who is the CEO of the company, with immediate effect. The roles and responsibilities of the CEO will be taken over by Sri Gopal Kabra, who's the current MD of the company. So on the back of this news flow, expect the stock to be under pressure today.
All right, thanks a lot for that. Here's a quick recap of our top stocks. Stocks with positive news flow. There's Reliance, Vodafone Idea, Hatsun Agro, Tejas Networks, Patel Engineering and PSP projects. While stocks with negative news flow, there's Nestlé, M&M Financial, Mahindra Logistics and RR Kabel. But the other thing that the street is tracking very closely is the way crude prices are moving, and Brent crude is back below $88 a barrel. Manisha Gupta is here to give us all the commodity market action overnight. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Sonia. Thank you for that. Well, yes, the crude oil prices are now trading at a 4-week lows, and the previous week saw a 3% decline, and in this week itself now, in the last 24 hours, we've seen another percentage point being given away. Well, it has to do with the strength in dollar index, the yields on the higher side, the fact that the U.S. production is at record highs, and the U.S. crude inventories are surging. And then there is easing of concerns within the Middle East as well, and that premium seems to be getting off the prices as well. And it's not just crude. If you look at the precious metal prices, the cuts have been deeper there. Silver prices fell 5% overnight. Gold was down 2.5%. There is some profit taking seen come in the base metal prices also. So the strength in US dollar and the fact that the US Fed rate cuts could be postponed by another quarter is weighing across the tangible commodities.
Okay, all right, Manisha, thanks very much for that. That's commodities in focus. We'll take a quick commercial break here. But on the other side, Devin Choksi will be with us, Managing Director at DR Choksi FinServ. And we talk specific stocks, lots of earnings and how stocks will react and what you should be doing. A little later after that, we put the focus on Reliance's fourth quarter earnings with an analyst. We'll be joined by Prabal Sen of ICICI Securities and Karan Thurani of Elara Capital. Stay tuned, that conversation follows.